Hi, I'm Saloni. Today we have Mr. Siddharrth Kumar with us. He is an expert in numerology as well as astrology. Hi and welcome to Social Bits. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Saloni. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
So, shall we start with a small introduction about yourself?
Sure, Saloni. Hi, I am Siddharth Kumar. So I am Chief Happiness Officer at Numrovani. So what we do is that we help people to discover their true potential by leveraging the art of numerology, astrology, and the Vedas. So we help them in discovering a DIY lifestyle which is customized and personalized as per their name and date of birth. So this is one area where we work. We have a program called LAP, Life Accelerator Program, where we work with individuals in making their life better and better in a customized manner. Similarly, we also help companies in improving their employee engagement metrics and improving their employee attrition ratios and helping them to make their workplace a happy place to be. So this is all about what I do and do. Personally, I started learning this science at the age of 6, spending around 1.5 decade in the researching the subject and learning. In 2013, I started it as a side hustle, then slowly and steadily groomed into this. So besides this, I'm educated in pharma. I'm a graduate in pharmacy. I've worked for around 8 years in strategy consulting with biggest rating firms and so on.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. So, how did this journey start?
So this journey was more of a serendipity, I would call. So at the age of 6, it was not very clear that how where the path it to take, how much career it can be built into numerology or so. I'm talking about the early years of 95 or 96. But at the same time, it was definitely in the genes as my family had the roots, but they were more towards keeping these things to limited and offline set of people. From there it started, but initially it was like ki, chalo, it is good for a time pass, but this is not something which you can pursue as a profession. You can pursue as something like that. So I also did my schoolings and graduation in pharmacy, and then worked with corporates in a strategic consulting function. At the same time, I never lost my passion of learning the subject. I kept on doing that.
Okay.
2013 was a magical year when I felt that this have been long time. I have been learning the subject, researching the subject. Let us give it a try as a side hustle. I started doing the side hustle, but at that point of also you have done the researches, but you have read everything. But until or unless you practice in a real life, you don't get experience to that. So 2013 to 2018 was the 5 years when I was more focused towards advising people who were known to me, friends, their references, families, and so on. 2018 was a magical year, another milestone year when I actually bring it into the online space. Yes, I am open for the public to consult. And over the last 3 years, it has been a tremendous growth journey in across all areas.
Oh, that's nice, very nice. So, in the initial stage, was making people believe that astrology and numerology actually making sense and effective was difficult?
So see, this is a very tricky question to answer. So ideally, we feel that people do not believe on astrology and numerology. This is not the fact. People do believe on the subject. People do doubt astrologer or numerologist. So see, whether it is me or someone else, they can be wrong. My mistake or my error is not the mistake of the science astrology.
Okay.
Having said so, initially it was more and this is something still today, to make a person to actually trust someone who is younger than them to build on the advice, and that is something has been a great factor to convince them to make sure that they are at the right place to happen with. But this is the strongest point as well. I have transformed into the most of the strongest point because I call myself to a bridge who can bridge both the Vedic world to the modern world.
While researching about Numrovani, we found that it is quite famous. So, how was your overall experience in building Numrovani as a brand?
So see, building Numrovani as a brand, since I was more myself from a background of a strategy consulting, so I advised the numerous brands across all the countries of globe. But I was more focused towards biopharma, health and well-being, working with the biggest rating agencies, consulting firms, and so on. It was definitely a tricky journey. The reason was that I felt if I start reaching to the people through the B2C route,
Hmm.
it will take years for me to reach to the people, and that was and when I saw the competition, they were more focused towards B2C space. That is why I feel health. This is the right time to make it B2B, B2C brand. Because when I'm working with a company, I'm impacting more lives at one point of time. So
Hmm.
my cycle of impacting the people gets reduced. So this is where the concept of Numrovani came into picture. Ki, focus it on more B2B, B2C brand. So we are B2B, B2C brand. So we saw both the customer, but right now our mix is more towards B2C. That is our focus area as well. So
Mhm.
and second thing is that I always felt the people need to trust you. The people need to be aware about you, and that is where the concept of content came into picture. So I started writing wherever I got the place. And personally, if I have to share one thing or one secret of building the number one, it is the content. Simple funda is that I wrote the content in the areas which matters the most and
Mhm.
which is not very often talked about. And
Okay.
that was a great impetus to get the recognition as well as the public awareness. See, yeah, this is something talking about a relevant thing. I will tell you a very practical example. I wrote a story for, say, a media house on depression, ki how music therapy can be used. And I received at least thousands of messages on the WhatsApp. Ki, this is something we have first time heard it of, and
Mhm.
uh, and they leverage it and they find it to be effective in the life.
Okay. So, by any chance, do you believe technology and artificial intelligence is helping you in astrology?
So see, certainly there are two parts of it. When I talk about technology, so certainly technology has transformed astrology significantly,
Mhm.
both for the customers as well for the astrologers. So if I talk about for the astrologers, so there are numerous softwares that come into picture that actually takes away lot of manual calculation. So initially, if I go by the natural route which existed 20 or 30 years before, there was a lot of manual calculation. The
Mhm.
software had actually reduced that time and made the thing faster. So this is what software has done for the astrologers. If I talk about for the people, there are numerous apps at the moment where the you can consult people at a very say economical pricing or making the thing accessible. That is another disruption which is happening. And if I combine both this tech for this spiritual or this religious space, the market is as big as $60 billion in India,
Mhm.
only in India. If I make this a global figure, this market is far bigger than that. So certainly, this is last couple of years has been truly magical for the technology disruption because the industry or more of the public has started accepting it. This is also a big market chunk.
Okay.
Right now, this market is very scattered between unorganized players, the independent astrologers and numerologists, as well as there are a couple of companies that has come into the space, but still the market is widespread open.
Okay.
So definitely, it's a big disruption happening. Talking about the artificial intelligence, this is a very early for artificial intelligence to disrupt it. But certainly, what the progress of the science that has been doing, so certainly it would be going to be a great asset for the astrologers. It is certainly going to help them in reducing their manual effort, making them more productive and or say more efficient in focusing on the more relevant aspects rather than focusing on the monotonous calculations and other aspects that can be done.
So, like, we find many applications on astrology. Are they actually reliable? Should people
So
believe
see,
in them?
there are two parts of it. The first part of it that when we talk about astrology apps, so there are two kinds of astrology apps that exist.
Hmm.
One type where you put your date of birth, time and place, then they show you kundli and they do a prediction.
Yeah.
So this is something the software does the calculation right. However, when it comes about the prediction, the software cannot be called to be reliable. The reason is that there are a lot many things that are dependent upon what you do in your life. So that I call it Kriyaman Karma. Kriyaman Karma means something that we have done in the life. And this is something which a person can read only with the help of intuition.
Okay.
Now coming, there are second set of app which is virtually like a astrologer marketplace where there are human astrologers listed and you can consult any of them. Definitely, those apps are reliable. It is just a window where you can interact with multiple people. So certainly those can be reliable because at the end you are going to consult a human.
So, you obviously started this brand from a scratch. So, as a founder, what are the things you learned?
So as a founder, what I simple learned: never ever hesitate from doing the simple things. As a
Hmm.
founder is not it's all about tag, or it's not something a fancy title that you can write on a LinkedIn or other Facebook place. Rather, it is a responsibility. It's a big responsibility. And simpler things make the life. The simple thing is that make a product, make a service which people love to buy. Simple. Your customer service, your empathy to the customer is what differentiates you. Second thing, which is very important, as a founder, it is important to hold for your value and the integrity. Because once your integrity is questionable, the person you are going to lose forever. At the second time, you will also lose word of the mouth. Because typically, this is what is called network or the viral effect. The word of mouth is a very potent thing which can make you viral or which can make you network, grow your business network very quickly if you use it widely. So
Mm-hmm.
I just telling one practical example. When we started this brand, we were so I was personally very active on the social media. Still, I'm very active on sharing the contents, what matters to the people, and I used to call them moment contents. At this point of time, as an individual, what I would love to read, and when you write those contents now, the people will definitely connect to you. And this is still one of the biggest market strategy or the GTM for us, where we write the content and the content has actually delivered or transcribed to a set of business. So as a founder, the first thing is that holding to your value. Second thing is that there is nothing known as working 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Many founders sometimes feel if we work 24/7, then our business will grow significantly. This is not the case. Founders' own well-being or their own health is also very important. As a founder, you should be the flag bearer to make sure when to prioritize work, when to prioritize life. And there is no panacea that will work for all. It is important to do that because if you are able to manage it, you lead by the examples. Third and the last, listen to your customers. At all point of time, it is important to listen to their thoughts, what they liked, what they didn't like. Still on date, I personally speak to each of the client who shares a feedback, whether it's a positive or negative, to help me understand what turned out not to be good and what turned out to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what turned out to be good is also important because that is very important to understand.
Yeah.
So being proactive, and last but not least, as a brand, it is important to think proactively about the future, how the future will transform. Because
Mm-hmm.
until or unless you are able to think of that, you are imagine of that, your solution will be short for. Your solution will not need the time. So that is very important to do that in advance as a business. And however you do, whatever you do, that's completely your decision. But at the end, you should be able to understand what I can expect from the business or from the geopolitical scenario.
Okay. So, as a founder, you believe hard working is actually important, but smart working is also more important.
Right.
Okay. So, do you believe mentors are important for any business or startup?
Definitely, mentors are essential because there are two options to learn. Either you learn by making mistakes or learning from the mistakes of the others. And mentors helping in that to identify those mistakes they have done in their life and making sure you don't repeat them. So
Mhm.
certainly, mentors are definitely a good to have.
Okay. So, according to you, what things an entrepreneur should take care of while growing the business?
So see, entrepreneur. The one thing which I feel the responsibility of a founder or an entrepreneur is to empower the people. Empower the people because everyone is a human being. You cannot work 24/7. You cannot work 24/7 to 365. You need to empower people. That's it. As a leader, your responsible is to empower the people. If your people are empowered, they will take care of your business. Simple.
Okay.
So they should feel that you trust them, you trust their decision skill. You need to make sure that they take the very same decision that you would have taken and that point of time, even better decision than that.
So, what do you believe we can do to change or to develop or to boost the startup ecosystem in India?
So, startup ecosystem has definitely got a great amount of boost in the last couple of years, but
Mhm.
it is important to build it from the Bharat. Right now, this is in India,
Yeah.
and we need to start reaching the Bharat to make it more inclusive. Second thing is that still the startup ecosystem has got the red tapes, the protocols, the formalities, the complexities involved with. We have to make it more simple.
Okay.
We have to make it more aware. Still, if I talk about tier 4 or tier 5 cities, the government programs are not available, or say The people are not aware that such opportunity also exists for them. So
Mm-hmm.
it is very. The second thing is that all such programs and all these initiatives are primarily into English. So to reach to the Bharat and to boost this startup ecosystem, it is essential to transform these resources into vernacular languages.
Okay.
Because when we talk about Bharat, the real India, you have to be disrupt the market with the vernacular languages
Yeah.
because the people connect to that. And until unless, say for example, it's not about any specific language. Say for example, if I talk about say Kannada or Tamil, you won't find a startup conference happening in Tamil and Kannada. But there
Mm-hmm.
are numerous people, numerous innovators who would love to have those in that. So if we really want to make India a global hub or a hub for startups, or the startups as an accelerator for the country, a 5 trillion economy vision, we need to tap into the market, see how these resources, these informations are available in vernacular language.
Okay. So, one piece of advice that you would like to give to the future entrepreneurs that want to work on some unique startups like yours.
So one simple piece of advice I always feel or always give is that
Mm.
always back up yourself. You need to be confident. You don't need to be overconfident. To
Okay.
test your product, test your vision. It is your trust, your gut feel that will differentiate you from the competition.
Okay. From astrology point of view, what things are important you believe and a startup should keep in mind?
Okay. So if I talk about how startups can leverage astrology or numerology, there are different pitches. It depends on what phase of business you are. Say, for
Mhm.
example, I am someone who is going to start a business. In this, the astrology can help you with couple of things. The first thing is that what area to do a business. This is suitable to you, this is not suitable to you. Second area, it can help you in choosing the right muhurt. That is the time that when to start the business.
Okay.
Third area, it can help you with your company name, your brand name, your logo, the colors behind it, your website, your domains, each and everything. So this is at the time of starting a business. Once you have started your business, then it can help you in timing your strategy. So this
Mhm.
I call to be a business booster, integrated business booster that can help you to time you when you have to accelerate your business, when you have to slow down or to reserve your cash reserves.
Mhm.
Second thing, where for a growing business, the astrology can help you. Again, if you're into a business where you launch lot of
Mm.
products, lot of services, then their launch dates, their product names, taglines, colors behind that are the things that can be customized. Last but not least, at any stage of business, astrology can help you to design your employee well-being program. This is the most untapped area at the moment, but astrology or numerology is like a torch, is like a guidance map in a dark room that can help you to customize and personalize your well-being initiatives based on the name of your employees. And the simple fact is that traditionally we Indians are known to be shy. We don't speak about. This is why there's a very famous term known as quit quieting. We love to quit rather than speaking it up. And this is where it actually comes into picture. Astrology and numerology can help you in understanding you those quiet mind and helping them without even making them feel they are getting help. And this we have worked at it. We were working with a KPO in the past where they were experiencing a lot of attrition. There was a team they had of 100 people. They were one of the best paymasters. They were paying around 120%, 150% of the competitor set. But still the average retention time was around 9 to 10 months. The
Okay.
reason was that people used to quit without giving any reason. All the exit formalities, all the exit interviews has resulted into nothing. They are just going for a better opportunity. But that could not be one reason. And when we intervened there with the help of astrology, we were able to deduce what the real factor is. And we were able to improve that or employee median tenure of 9 months to 2.5 years at the point of time. This is one of the longest projects that we have been doing for past around 3 or 4 odd years.
That's
So it is
really
important. So what I simply say is that astrology, do not see astrology as something which is a very isolated or something in isolation. Rather, include astrology or numerology as a part of a decision making matrix. Like all other parameters that we consider in a decision making matrix, this is one of the metrics that can help you. And this is something which has been leveraged by the companies, whether they accept it in public, they don't accept it in public. Another thing which I want to add over here is that now The biggest rule of business is that to learn from the learnings of others. We
Okay.
have a well-established industry known as film industry, whether it's any industry of India, whether it's a Hindi movie industry or it's a Tamil or Telugu or Kannada. This is one industry that has leveraged the beauty of astrology and numerology for last 20 years or 30 years, and they have got the result. So I personally feel this is a high time for other industries to also learn from these learnings and help to make them better. So it's just another parameter that gives you another layer of protection, and no harm in doing that.
Okay, so let's talk about your achievements lately. You have been recognized as the youngest numerologist on the TEDx talk show. How was your experience over there?
Thank you so much, first of all. So it was really great. So I personally, when I 2018, when I came into the public into this numerology world, I was very sure that I have to take this numerology to the areas where it has not been taken through. And TEDx was definitely a great platform to be there to talk about how these numbers impact. So this is really a great moment for me personally to be the youngest one as on date. So,
Yeah.
I would love this record to be broken as soon as can. I would really love some younger people than me to come out and break this record, and that would be a great feeling for me as well. So definitely, because the reason is that when you connect to the audience, people know the significance of the sciences,
Mhm.
and this is something which has been with us since centuries, uh, with us, and let us leverage this beauty of our traditional science with synergistic combination of modern science to make it a pair of success.
Okay, so that's all for today. It was fun talking to you. It was great having you at Social Bits, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much, Saloni, for having me.
Thank you.